The 2016 session is underway. Can you share your thoughts on the governor's State of the State address the second day of session?
Yeah, I was really concerned. He painted a very, very rosy picture of what the economy is. And unfortunately, it's not true, at least not for the whole state. Seattle, King County, they're doing great. But the rest of the state is still struggling. And I don't think he really recognizes what's going on outside of the Puget Sound region. And he needs to understand what's going on in the rest of the state, where unemployment is still high in many of our counties. We need to actually be doing some things to create jobs in those areas. He wants to spend more money, some of it on new programs that will be ongoing programs, and he wants to eliminate some of the very types of things that help create jobs, that help attract employers to our communities. We need to protect those. We actually need to enhance those, not eliminate those.
Recently, the Human Rights Commission has required that public facilities and private businesses open their restrooms, locker rooms, and dressing rooms to both men and women. People are understandably concerned and have quite a few questions. Is there legislation being introduced this session to address this issue?
There is legislation. Obviously, when legislators found out about this issue, we were very concerned as well. This is really to try and accommodate the transgender community. And I don't want to disparage the transgender community, but what I'm concerned about is if you take a man who identifies as a woman and goes into a locker room where there are teenage girls, where women of any age are undressing or showering, he's undressing, I think it's very inappropriate, especially with the young girls. And so I'm really concerned that to try and deal with the discomfort that the transgender community is feeling right now, they've created discomfort in the broader community. I think there's another way of doing this. I think the Human Rights Commission really erred. I don't think they looked at all options because if they really had looked at all options, I think they would have found a better way. What they came up with was a requirement that if you feel uncomfortable because there is a transgender person using the locker room or restroom, then you have to go to the business and ask for special accommodation. Realistically, shouldn't we have just left it that the transgender community go ask for the special accommodation? That would have been a more appropriate solution.
There have been a few bills introduced this session targeting the right to keep and bear arms. Can you share a bit about where you stand on this issue?
Yeah, I'm very concerned about any piece of legislation that erodes away at people's Second Amendment rights. I think the Second Amendment is a constitutional right that stands the test of time. And I'm really concerned when someone wants to limit what you can have, what size magazine you can have. The limits they're trying to put on are on semi-automatic weapons, not on automatic weapons. And the difference is an automatic weapon, you pull on the trigger once and you get multiple rounds fired. A semi-automatic, you have to pull the trigger for each round that's fired. And there are many, many hunting rifles that are that way. So I really have concerns about it. And we have to remember that the issue of mass shootings and criminal activity, those are not going to be stopped by any of this. Not by any of this. Because if the people out there who are doing these mass shootings have no respect for human life, they have no respect for our current laws against killing people, are they going to have any kind of respect for a law banning a certain kind of gun? No, they're not. So it is not going to make anybody safer, and I dare say it could make us less safe in our communities. Because as soon as the criminals know that the honest people don't have guns, they know that there's no way that they can defend themselves, that we can defend ourselves. So I really am concerned about these types of things, and I have stood firm to defend people's rights, especially their Second Amendment right, and I'll continue to stand for people's Second Amendment rights.